I've got to say, I feel like I've achieved the triple whammy, because I've spoken to Adil and I've spoken to Clio and now I'm speaking to you.
Oh,
so I've got all three.
Good, I'm
which
glad.
is great. But I love the film. It's absolutely beautiful. I was looking through your list of films earlier, and of course there's a huge variety, lots of British films. But there was one that actually sort of jumped out at me because it was completely different, because you were in Spider-Man Far From Home. You've been in a superhero movie.
I know. I mean, it's just really incongruous, isn't it? But I love it. Yeah. I mean, I've got kids who are sort of early teens and really into those films. And also, yeah, I mean, I just got asked to do it. So I was really pleased. And I wasn't really sort of massively aware of that genre. I know my kids were, my husband, but I kind of hadn't sort of watched a lot. And so when I watched it, I was like, this is really good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's a tiny little part, but I'm really pleased I was in it.
What was the big Hollywood experience like for you?
Do you know what? Not that different to, not different at all. I mean, we were in Elstree. I'd say the main difference was the catering was really, really nice. They have a lot of posh sort of food and snacks, more than filming in Bradford for Ali and Ava. But no, it was refreshingly normal. You know, at the end of the day, they're just actors and a director and the crew doing the same job that all crews do. So it was surprisingly every day, really. Yeah. And until you watch it and then you go, blimey, this is a big machine. Yeah, to be a part of.
It is. I mean, thinking about that huge range of roles that you've done, what is it that makes a part sort of jump off the page at you and make you think, oh, this is definitely for me? And what was it particularly about Ava that made you feel that way?
I think it's important to be realistic about, I think a lot of actors who are interviewed by their nature are, successful actors who get choice. But most of us don't get to choose often. You need to work, and if something comes along and it's not dire, you do it. So I can't pretend that there was sort of lots of choices on the table, which made it all the more delightful that I was invited to be a part of this. And it was first and foremost just that it was such a refreshingly honest story about a sort of type of woman that I don't often see represented, represented in this context. A complex character where I knew there was pain and complexity in her history, but also just that we got to see finding such joy and humour without schmaltz, without cliche, just a very real portrayal of a very real woman, in a very real world. So that was wonderful.
I believe Adil was involved in the project from very, very early on, but you came in quite a lot later. So given that yours is the main relationship in the film and you had less time, how did you go about building that on-screen rapport? Because you look like you've been together for years. I mean, it looks so natural.
Thank you. I think the script was such that it was all there for the taking, in terms of very quickly seeing and being able to get an understanding of this character. I think my nature as a person is I'm very sort of open, and I'm up for a laugh and for being playful, and I was also hungry to play this character and the things that were sort of asked of her. So the fact that I came on later, it's the same time in the process that I always usually get cast. Most of us usually get cast when the script's written and production's ready to go. So it was all the things were in place, and not least coupled with Clio's character and ethos, where she creates a very secure set, very kind atmosphere. So all the components really meant I was able to just jump in, rather like Ava does. you know, with caution, and there's a tentativeness. But the key thing was being enabled to be just open and relaxed, so that all the wonderful stuff that Adil and I were finding between us, and the wonderful stuff that the other ones, you know, the other actors playing my family members and things, just very generous, giving set. So you sort of find it was easy to not. It's easy to jump in. Yeah. To be instinctive. That was the key, to just be instinctive, rather than to preempt all the things I wanted to show and do. Scrapped all that. Just be in the moment and hope it happens, and it does. Yeah.
It certainly does. I mean, I think part of the appeal of the film is that the two of you look so comfortable together. And I wondered what you felt the film had to say about finding love when you're a little bit older.
I think the film just really delicately shows the reality. I mean, it's optimistic and hopeful that it can happen. That's one of the most wonderful things. But I think what it really explores well is, yes, in this instance, there are obstructions from the community and their family, but some of the biggest hurdles the characters have to face are the ones that they give themselves. And I'll just speak for my character, but finding love again, or finding the bravery to be open to feeling worthy of being found attractive or lovable, when you have a very fresh, painful memories of it, of love meaning something very different. Exploring her, navigating her way through that, and the walls she perhaps puts in front of herself was really unusual to sort of be, to see in a script. And I know Adil would have a similar story to tell about his character. So I think the film explores that, and we all have those. I mean, whether you're young, but certainly I think when you're older, it's rare to run towards love with open arms and without inhibition, because we have stories that we've endured or been through.
You come with more baggage, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. One of the things, of course, that brings them together is music, even though their tastes are so poles apart. Strangely enough, that brings them together as well. I wondered if your tastes were anything like Ava's, and if you've ever made a mixtape for anybody.
My tastes are similar to Ava's. I didn't know country so well. I knew a bit of folk, fucking folk, but it was easy to empathize with Ava and her taste in music. I've never made a mixtape for anyone. I've had them made for me, and what a special thing that is. I think I love. I mean, there's just some brilliant music in the film, some amazing sort of tunes, but also I think it really shows how, again, how intimate music is. And whether we talk about the act of making someone a mixtape, or even just now, sending someone a link to a song you like on Spotify, it's often about so much more, isn't it, than just, I like this song, do you? You are sort of yielding a bit of what makes you tick, or inviting someone to to feel what you feel when you hear a song, or not. And I think this is such a rich thing, music. It's such an intimate thing, and to see it explored in this way in this film is gorgeous.
Now, of course, we're used to seeing you on screen, but actually I believe you started your acting career in the theatre, and you're about to go back on stage because you're going to be at the National in a new play called Middle. I wondered how it felt to be going back to the theatre, and whether you feel that working across film and TV and theatre actually helps keep you fresh as an actor.
I can't wait to go back and do theatre. I mean, I've had it's hard when you've got kids, you know, and anyone will tell you. I know all work is hard when you've got kids, but it's hard to make it work. And that's from having done a lot of theatre early on in my career. That's the reason why I've done less recently. But it's a cliche, but it does offer, well, for me, it does offer a particular sort of enriching experience. There's something about the immediacy of it being live. There's something about the thrill of it, you know, the danger of it, and it being also what you know, trained in, and what brought, well, for me, what brought me to, you know, the profession in the first place. So I'm really excited to be going back, and it's with a writer I've worked with several times called David Eldridge, and an actor I know very well called Dan Ryan. So it's all set up to be I'm very excited about it. And I think, yeah, to answer your question, it's great. It's great to be given the opportunity to do all the different formats, and whether they, yeah. I mean, I think they definitely. Well, I think all parts feed each other. All experiences feed each other. So I don't know how, but I know that there will be thoughts that trip across my head when I'm on stage from from everywhere. So yeah, I feel very lucky. Yeah.
Well, wish you every success with that, and indeed with Ali and Ava. I hope everybody loves it as much as I did.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much for your time.